Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-holds-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date with current NHL news, even the controversial. Welcome to the Debate Hockey Podcast with your hosts, Brad Burud and Blake Friars. And, I'm the host of the show, Brad Burud, joined alongside my co-host, Blake Friars, and we are all the way up to episode 187. And it's crazy to think we're in year six already.
Year six.
Crazy. You know, I was just doing a little research this summer, looking at different podcasts and stuff that talk hockey, and there's very few that are on year six. Very few.
Yeah.
And there's very few into, we're hovering on the 200th episode here, coming on us real quick. So, a lot to be proud of. It's been a lot of fun, and I expect this year to be, bigger and better than ever. I think this shows, I feel like we haven't done a show for like 3 weeks. I'm like out of the loop on what we're doing here. So,
I got new lights, new green screen, so should be.
We got all kinds of new equipment, so that's good. That's what I was trying to make it a little bit better. There'll be a couple changes for season 6. Is we've trimmed the topics down just a little bit. We're gonna go and cut a little bit of the content out. We're gonna try to keep it under an hour. Some of our shows get a little bit longer, but I would expect our prediction show and those type of shows will be a little bit longer, but as a whole, we'll keep it trimmed down to under an hour is our goal this year. And we're still going to have 3 questions. That's our favorite part of the show, and many of the listeners' favorite part of the show. So we're still doing that, and should be good. I'm excited for season 6. So summer's almost over, isn't it, Blake?
Yep, golf season's ending. It's getting a little chilly. Getting a little chilly outside.
I like this time of year, though. I like when you go outside at night.
Leaves, though. The only thing I hate is the leaves. And it's windy as shit.
Blake, let me ask you a question.
Give me the heat.
How often do you rake leaves? Because I got a feeling you're not doing that.
I just cut the grass today, so sucked up some leaves.
I asked the question, how often do you rake?
I haven't raked leaves in probably like 8 years.
Yeah, so you're really, really stressed about the leaves, I'm sure. I'm sure you're stressed terribly. So
yeah.
I don't know. Chill in the air. That means hockey's coming. Junior hockey games start this weekend. Many regular seasons all over Canada and the US. Getting the regular season going. So that's always a fun time of year.
Whenever you know prospect games are going, that's when you know NHL is right around the corner.
I watch the prospect.
I love hockey, man. I'm waiting for the Canucks to start. I watched 2 prospect games. So.
I watched one. But,
against Vancouver.
I saw most of that game.
Yeah, I watched one. They played the Jets today. They lost 4-2. So
Calgary did. Yeah, Calgary lost 5-3.
Vancouver.
No, I watched
Vancouver
Winnipeg. Vancouver played Winnipeg yesterday because I watched Calgary play Winnipeg today. So
they must have 2 teams.
No, they don't have 2 teams.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure because I saw the score yesterday that Winnipeg and Vancouver played. So yeah,
let me just double check.
Speaking of Vancouver, we're talking about them on the show today as we're going to talk about JT Miller as he kind of highlighted the summer signings this year. Then we're going to go around the league, talk about a whole bunch of stuff from revenue to Mullets, TV teams, jerseys, PTO, and Alligators. Yes, Alligators. All right, let's talk summer signings. There was kind of a barrage of late summer signings. We touched on most of the main signings over our summer episodes that we did, but there has been some late signings that have been rolling in, and it's been highlighted by JT Miller as the Vancouver Canucks locked him up for Kelly's like 52. They've got him locked up.
Okay. This is the guy who cheers for a team we locked up Huberto and Kadri into their late 30s.
No problem with Huberto.
Okay.
Kadri might get a little bit long.
Just putting that out there.
Anyways, JT Miller signs a 7-year contract worth a total of $56 million. What? Okay. And I'll pick your brain, Blake, because if you're new to the show this year, Blake is a Vancouver Canucks fan. I am a Calgary Flames fan. No, we don't just talk Flames and Canucks. We talk every NHL team. And we maybe jab at each other a little bit about those teams, but we do talk about every single NHL team, right? Devils, we don't talk about you because you don't win. So
Devils, Oilers, Cup, yeah, we talk about them all. So let's dive into this one a little bit, and then we'll kind of roll through the late summer signings and get both Blake and I's take on those. But Vancouver, so he signs, and I originally, I'll give you my take on it, Blake, and then you give me yours. I see this signing, and I thought, well, they had to sign him. He's their best player. You don't have a guy like JT Miller on your team and don't, I guess, do everything in your power to get him locked up. But my thought process that I thought was a little bit odd, and it hit me later on when I saw how old he is right now. Before this contract kicks in, he's in his 30s. He's 29 right now.
So this contract doesn't kick in for another year.
He'll be 30, just turned 30 when it kicks in.
Yeah. So he's going to be 38 years old when this bad boy, 37 when this bad boy is done.
Yeah.
So how does that, okay, and here's why I say that. I don't think you'll deny that it's probably not a cup win season for the Canucks this year.
No.
So what is the window in Vancouver? Like, what is the game plan?
You look at most of their contracts. Okay. You got Hughes signed through for 5 more years. And it seems to me the Canucks window is to win in the next 4 seasons. Okay. You have Miller for the next 4+ years. You got Garland next 4+ years. You got Ilya Mikheyev next 4 years. You got Demko making $5 million in the next 4 years. Hughes, OEL in that window as well. So, that seems that's what the plan is. The Canucks won't be contending for another 2-3 years probably, but with this contract, is there risk signing long-term deals? Yeah, every long-term deal.
Every single
one you sign. But you get an opportunity to lock up JT Miller, just coming off a 99-point season. He's the Canucks' best player. They had to do it.
I agree. I completely agree.
Where the Canucks are at and the core that they have, trading JT Miller for what they would have got probably would have helped them 3 to 4 years down the road. And that I don't think that played into the Canucks plan. So the goal was to re-sign him, and they did. And I think it's a fair contract for both JT and the Canucks. JT Miller, if he has another 100-point season and goes in UFA, he's probably getting 10 mil? 9 mil, 9.5 mil?
So are you wondering though, like, okay, I see all these contracts in Vancouver, and I start to wonder. No, I'm not talking about that. I guess it is part of it. I'm starting to, but a year ago, right now, you told me that was a great contract and that was going to help this team. And now 12 months later, that's starting to look not so great. And I'm starting to wonder, like, we keep signing these contracts in Vancouver and then hate them the next year, but are you going to have enough money to build around these guys? Because who can argue that JT Miller is going to be a key cog and is a top elite player in the National Hockey League?
JT Miller will give you elite play for the next 5 seasons.
Agree.
I believe that.
But can you build? Do you have enough? Do you have enough to build around these guys though? You don't have any cap space right now?
No. Most of their work the Canucks are going to do contend is in 2024. 2025 in 2 years. That's when most of the work. Myers is off the books. You got
who are you filling these spots with though?
No, I'm just saying like they're gonna have room to spend, and it's about
they're gonna have to make trades. You're gonna have to make trades. You're gonna have to make signings. The thing I like about the Canucks is they got a pretty good core in place. Is Pedersen, is he gonna have a better year than last year? 100%. He's gonna have a better year.
You better hope so.
He had 34 goals after the All-Star break. 34. He had 3 his first 30 and had 34 in the next 50. So that's all under Boudreau too. So he seemed to play well under Boudreau. You got Besser, who, like I said, with all the stuff that he went through last year, his father passing, I mean, he's going to have a clear head. I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. I like Garland. I like the addition of Mikheyev. The top 9 in Vancouver is pretty good, and they're locked up for a long time, other than Horvat, right? And that's the question is, well, now that they re-signed Miller, can they re-sign Horvat? And, I mean, you go look at – we love bringing up this site, Cap Friendly. They have $15 million in cap space next year, right? And they got to re-sign Hoglander, Kuzmenko, and Horvat. That's it. That's lots of cap. You got room to spend.
Well, Horvat might want $7 million.
Horvat's getting 5.5. He's a 50 to 60 point player. Maybe he gets 6.5. I don't think he gets anything over 7.
So you're going to have Brock Besser making more money than Bo Horvat?
Well, Brock's making 6.6. Yeah. He'll come in around the same. Is that Brock Besser's? I think. Okay. So I think Brock Besser's a better goal scorer than him.
Yeah, probably if he's healthy, though.
But Horvat's definitely a better two-way player. Is there question marks still in Vancouver? Yeah, 100% there is. But I think they're on the right track. They got a lot of pieces in play. I love their goaltending. I love their top 9. Their defense is their defense. I mean that's everybody knows that.
I don't know if you'd call it a defense.
We'll see. Quinn Hughes offered to play the right side to help out. That's interesting. So it looks like they're going to go OEL and Hughes on the top pair. But getting back to Miller, I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. They had to sign him. He's their best player. He's the guy now, and that's going to be a lot of added pressure. He's the guy in a crazed Canadian hockey market, and we'll see how he plays.
So let me throw this at you. To me, when I watched a lot of Canucks games last year, especially later in the season, I felt like JT Miller was in charge. Not just how he played, but just the way he held himself. And when the shit hit the fan, like you could tell through JT Miller's emotions, and you could see him.
He wears his emotions right on his sleeve. You don't hide them.
And you can, and you have all that. So how does a captain like Bo Horvat handle him, and or should JT Miller be the captain?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a fair question as well. I mean, he's paid to be the guy, and if Horvat does get moved, he's definitely the next captain, 1,000%. So, Horvat's my favorite player, and when the contract signed, I came to the realization that he may get traded. But at the same time, if you're competing for a playoff spot, you're not going to trade your captain. You know what I'm saying?
No, so, I'm with you. I agree with you. That's why
they're in a tough spot. I think honestly, I was reading today that Horvat and the Canucks are far apart, but we also heard that all summer JT Miller and the Canucks, and boom, he signed a 7-year deal.
So let me ask you this. Throw your emotions for Bo Horvat out the window for a second and answer this question. Is that money best spent by signing Bo Horvat to a long-term $6.5 million deal, or focusing $6.5 million to shoring up your blue line?
Okay, let me ask you this question. I'll play devil's advocate. Would you rather have Bo Horvat on a long-term deal or Klingberg on a long-term deal? Because that's the type of D-man that they're going to get.
Blake, I hate to say this, but I've never seen a championship team without a strong defense.
But how is a championship team built?
Back and out.
Hold on.
And up the middle.
Up the middle. You look at the Canucks centers right now. You got JT Miller, you got Elias Pettersson, you got Bo Horvat. Name me a better up the middle other than Calgary.
Okay, Colorado. There's other ones.
They just lost Kadri. Up the middle, the Canucks probably have a top 5 center depth.
But you have no wings and you have no defense.
Well, they're wings.
No, I know you can. I mean, they're marginal.
You know what I'm saying?
Top end. Yeah.
You know
okay.
what I'm saying, though.
I know what you're saying, but I do know
down the
one
middle.
thing.
Down the middle, it doesn't get much better than that.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to build around them, but it's a good place to start.
But Blake, like, Calgary can be really strong down the middle now on paper, right? We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's on paper, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you one thing right now. If I'm looking at Calgary's roster and I'm looking down the middle and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good, right? Pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I look at their back end, and that's what really makes me excited.
Yeah.
Not their center depth, but how we're built back end wise. And I mean, everything looks great on paper right now. Like I don't know how many times I've looked at rosters and been like, oh, this is good.
You got to play the games.
And you got to play the games, and you don't know how it's going to go. But I don't know. I just feel like it's so much easier in this league. I'm not going to say it's easier to add centers. That's very difficult. But I think it's so hard to build a strong D now.
So right now, the Canucks going into camp are going Ulrich, Larson, Quinn Hughes, Travis Dermott, Tyler Myers, and Rathbone and Luke Shen. Third pair, I have no problem with that third pair. And I'll say I probably have no problem with the first pair. It's the second pair that scares the shit out of me. It's the Tyler Myers and the Travis Dermott. That if they have a better left-handed D-man than Travis Dermott, you're probably thinking, okay, that's a middle of the pack D. But I mean, I just don't know what we're gonna get from the left side. I just don't know.
That'll be interesting. It'll be a fun thing to watch. I think Vancouver is going to be in my top by 6 or 7 teams this year to see if they can turn the level up or if this turns into a train wreck.
They've been in the mucky middle the last 3 years. That eventually you got to take the next step, and that starts with Demko. Demko takes another step, the Canucks will take another step. It's that simple.
You need to shore up your defense.
It is.
So let's roll through some of the other late summer signings. And one that kind of caught my eye was Tage Thompson, 7 years, 7.14 AAV. Did you have the same opinion as me and thought, holy macaroni, this is like a lot of money for someone like Tage Thompson?
Who was it that signed a deal? It was it Stutzel or who was it?
Tim Stützle signed 8 years at 8.35.
We'll get to that in a sec. There was a deal signed. Was it the Blues? Was it Robert Thomas?
Well, Robert Thomas had signed earlier this year. Jordan Kyrou just signed.
Oh, Jordan Kyrou. That's who it was. Jordan Kyrou.
8 years, 8.125, which I thought was outrageously high.
Hold on. But remember what I said? You're paying for the player in the future, not the players now, right? You get term and you got to give AV, okay? That's how it works. So,
that's how it works.
Hold on. I didn't really know what type of player. I didn't know he had 40 goals last year.
Yeah, because he played in Buffalo.
This guy's a player, though. This guy put up good chemistry with Tuck, but Buffalo always has to overpay for guys. Nobody wants to go play in Buffalo. Look what they had to do with Jeff Skinner for them to keep him. Like some markets, you have to overpay to keep players.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna play devil's advocate of this. I think Buffalo is probably one of the best markets in the States. They have the best
but they're not winning though. They're not winning.
No, I know that. But there's a lot of other teams that aren't winning. The players tend to go to. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, I'm not against signing Tage Thompson because he did have a really good season last year. You know what? He's got a huge upside. But this team continues to make knee-jerk reaction moves, whether it be at their management level or their signings. They're freaking crazy when they're signings, and they're I don't know. It just seems a lot of knee jerk reaction stuff. I don't know.
So he gets 7.1. He's 20. He'll be 25 when it kicks in. I mean, I don't hate this deal. If he can produce like he did last year, and that's a big ask, 40 goals. That's the standard that he set, though. He's gonna keep getting better.
So what did you think of the Jordan Kyrou deal?
I like it. I like Kyrou. But
at 8.125.
But right now, are these players worth that money? No. But in 2 years, down the road, they're going to be worth that money. And you got to keep in mind, in 4 years, apparently the cap is going up $7 million. So in 3 to 4 years, that ain't even going to be a big portion of the.
But I hate to keep using Vancouver for an example, but Blake, 2 years ago on this podcast, you would say all the time, Vancouver is going to have a ton of money. They're going to have a ton of money. You can't, but they spent it before they freaking had it.
Well, yeah,
and see, if you're spending your money now, knowing and planning, the cap's going to go.
I'll advocate with you. If Vancouver doesn't make that Oliver Ekman-Larsson Garland trade, they have so much money.
I know. So did it make sense?
Louis Eriksson, Roussel, and Beagle. That's $13 million. All could have been off the cap this year.
I agree, but they didn't do that, Blake. That's the problem I'm having.
That's what I'm saying. That trade set them back.
But you liked that trade.
Yeah, I liked Garland.
You liked Oliver Ekman.
Could have bounced back. And he didn't even have a bad year last year. It's just the contract. But, okay, are we talking about Stützle's deal here?
Well, I'm going to get to that. I don't know. The Kyrou thing, see, I think he has a huge upside. I really do. But he got...
I think Kyrou could score 100 points in the league. I think he's got that much skill. His speed is off the charts, and his playmaking ability is great. They're like...
I don't know. To me, it just seems really, really high. And I was looking for Robert Thomas's deal here, but I'm not seeing it. But that's right. I mean, okay. So let me ask you this: do you want Pierre-Luc Dubois, or do you want Jordan Kyrou for $2 million more?
I'll take Kyrou
for $2 million more.
Yep, absolutely.
Holy shit,
absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I think Pierre-Luc Dubois. I think he's too slow.
So then, what did you think of Tim Stützle's contract at 8 years, 8.35?
I love what Ottawa is doing.
I do too.
I love how they're locking their core up long term. I have no doubt about it. No questions about what they're doing. They're getting commitment from these young players, and that's going to be good.
I like that deal.
It's really good. You like it right now?
I do. And I know they're paying advance. They're paying in advance. Just like the Kyrou deal, just like the Thompson deal. But at least Stützle has got a little bit more. I don't know. I feel more confident in that deal. I do. I actually feel really confident in that deal. I like what Ottawa is doing. I love how that roster is coming together.
So they got Tkachuk locked up long term, Norris locked up long term. They got DeBrincat locked up for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. They got Shabbat locked up long term. And they got Batherson locked up long term, along with Stützle. So their whole young core is locked in 7+ years. I like what they're building. They're still they're not quite there yet. I like the Cam Talbot pickup.
I love that. I love that.
I like that tandem. They got Talbot, and I think Forsberg's a decent backup. We'll see what they get from Shane Pinto this year. See if he can take the next step. But yeah, I like the direction they're going. I don't mind this. I'm not in love with it, but I'm okay with it.
Let's cruise around here, and we got three more signings I want to talk about real quick. Like Evan Rodriguez gets a 1-year, $2 million deal with Colorado. I think there was a lot of teams.
Good depth. I mean, he got caught in the numbers game, not much cap, so he kind of had to wait for teams to clear out. And Colorado gets a pretty good player, a guy that can play in the center and can play on the wing.
He was actually, I didn't get to catch the team, but I heard there was rumors that he was offered more of a longer term, more expensive contract right at the when signing opened, and he decided to wait and lost out on that little betting.
And he benefited from playing with Crosby last year too, so that's something to keep an eye on.
I know this is a quiet signing, but Shane Dursey in LA signs 2 years at 1.7 million.
Sean Dursey.
Sean Dursey. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that is just a unbelievably good signing for the Kings. This Kings team is doing it the right way.
I think he kind of sold himself short, but I think he is helping them out in the short term so they can get some flexibility. And then I feel like they're going to sign him to a longer term deal because he'll still be an RFA in 2 seasons. But yeah, I think it's 1.75 for Dursey. Yeah, and he's a right-handed D-man. He's young.
1.7.
Are the Leafs ever kicking themselves for giving up him?
I really wasn't. I was super impressed with him last year. Super impressed with him, especially in the playoffs. Yeah, and the last signing we'll talk about, Jake Ottinger locked up in Dallas for 3 years, $4 million. So let me ask you this question. Let me just throw something.
Oh, this is what Dallas did. Dallas said, "Okay, Jake, we got no money to give you. We'll give you a 3-year deal, and then we're going to lock you up for one of the highest paid goalies in the league." Serious.
I know, but so why did he say yes? Why did he say no?
To give him some flexibility to get one more chance at the window with Sagan and Ben.
This team's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Like, who knows, man? They went to the final 2 years ago.
So let me put this in perspective for you. Tage Thompson is making twice as much as Jake Ottinger next year.
Yeah.
Is that not a laugher?
I understand.
That's a freaking travesty. Jake Ottinger should have said, "No, I want a 1-year, $7 million deal, and then we'll talk."
Yeah. It's
or he said, "I want 1 year at $4 million." And then
also Dallas could have said this. Okay, you have only played 70 games in the NHL.
Okay.
And we're going to give this guy a $7 million for a good 7 games he played in the playoffs.
Don't sign me then.
Okay. I think it's a decent deal for both teams.
Don't sign me then, because you know what? Every team would have went.
Okay, let me ask you this: is he really worth $7 million? Right? Would you give him if you're a GM? Would you give him $7 million right now?
I'd give him 6.5.
I'll meet you in the middle. I would give him 5.
He's a top 10 goalie in the league.
He's top 10?
I think so.
He's border. He's on the fringe. He's not.
Yeah, he's on the back end of the 10 for sure.
He's maybe like 13.
I don't know. Maybe just when you get bored this week, pencil it out, man. I bet you'll be surprised. I don't know. I
mean, it's a great deal for Dallas.
Yeah,
it's a great deal.
It's a terrible deal for Jake Ottinger.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. Time to go around the league. All right, let's go. Lots of things to talk about. NHL revenue. Let's talk about that. Just throwing some numbers. And I'm not going to criticize the National Hockey League because I think we're a little different than the other leagues. I think we can draw on a little bit smaller base just because there's less people that can play hockey.
Yeah.
NFL, $10 billion. NBA, $2.6 billion. Baseball.
Hockey's what, 4?
Baseball's nosediving down at $1.96 billion. And hockey's supposedly at $625 million. That's national media revenue. That's media revenue. That's not league revenue. That's media revenue.
Right.
Which brought me to think, and this is the only reason I brought it up. We're a year into the ESPN deal in the States.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you're from Canada, so I'm going to fill in the Canadian listeners what that really means for someone who views hockey in the U.S. It means that we don't have an NHL app anymore that we can pay money and watch all the games off the NHL app. What it means is we get all the games via ESPN Plus, which financially for a fan is better.
In Canada, you got Sportsnet now.
exposure in the US is better, but ease of use and it's a little bit more difficult. But the part that disappointed me so much is when it sounded like we were getting ESPN and every game's going to be on ESPN Plus, I assumed there would be a lot more games on ESPN and ESPN2. And that did not happen in the regular season. It did not happen. And that to me was really frustrating. I think that was not good. Do I think this will work out in the end with ESPN? Yeah, I do. Streaming is becoming more and more popular, but you still got to get on the big channels. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And the only reason I brought that up is,
the thing is with ESPN though, you got to compete with basketball and ESPN. That's a big draw for ESPN. Bigger than hockey for sure.
I think football
and
probably
college football.
bigger.
And the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, NHL is fucking third on the totem pole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
until the NHL gets. I don't want to say that because the NHL will never be on par with NBA and NFL in the States. It just won't. That's just the reality.
No.
So
probably on par with Major League Baseball.
Ooh, I don't know if I go that far.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if NBA. We'll see if Major League Baseball gets it together.
Ask me that in 5 years what the viewership's like. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. Baseball's struggling, and hopefully they're making some changes now to change that. But on to the Arizona, and I don't want to talk about this long. But when I saw that the name of the arena is Mullet Arena, and I know it's named after a person, yeah, pretty much sums up the whole Arizona thing, I guess.
Hey, guess what? Their season ticket sales are up 50%. They're gonna sell at that barn every night.
We'll see.
No, the one smart thing they're doing though in Arizona, I'll be short with this. I love the fact they're making a student section though. That is smart. They're making them discounted tickets. That's smart. It's a good deal.
Yeah, but every other
you're gonna get a big draw for students.
Yeah, we'll see. U.S. television. They announced the TNT, ESPN, ABC national broadcast games.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to touch on base on a couple of them that kind of caught my eye. And I thought, oh, whoa. The New York Rangers have 15 games nationally televised, which no surprise. That is the most. Guess
Oilers got 15 too.
Get what?
Oilers got 15 as well, right?
Not U.S. No, they have 14. That's 14. A lot. That's a lot.
Well, yeah, when you got the best player in the world, hello.
Guess who else has 15 though? The Minnesota Wild and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, two big hockey markets, so that's not surprising.
Colorado's got 14. Chicago's got 14. Boston's got 14.
How much Toronto have?
11.
Yeah.
Tampa's got 14.
I'm surprised Toronto doesn't have the most.
You want to know the least?
I think it's Vancouver at 1.
Vancouver has 2. Ottawa has 1. Winnipeg has 1.
Does anybody have 0?
Yep. Montreal Canadiens. 0. They earned that last year. They earned every bit of that.
Yep.
So October 20th, Blake, which I think that's tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow.
I wish.
No, wait, that's a month from now. Yeah, that's a month from now. They're announcing the reverse retros.
You said tomorrow?
I'm mixed up on my dates.
What?
I'm mixed up, man. I'm mixed up.
It's
September 19th. So we're a month away. So in a month from now, we're going to get new jerseys again. Does this excite you or not?
Yeah, it does. I wish, I hope they wear them a little more. I mean, they only wore them like 3 times last year.
I hate it. I hate it.
Okay, but Calgary had a sick jersey last year.
No, they didn't. They didn't do reverse retros last year. They didn't do reverse.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I don't know. I don't like it.
They had a great third jersey.
No.
I liked it.
No.
Speaking of new jerseys, what do you think of San Jose's new one?
I love them. Going back to the past, I like them a lot.
I do, but in the past they had black pants. Like I like it, they're on their home ones, but it's solid blue. It looks like the Carolina Hurricanes.
You have to go with teal though for pants.
But they wore black pants the first year they were in the league.
The white jerseys look the best.
Yes, they do. But
I love the white jerseys.
I would give if you could give me one wish for the national, I think I've said this probably 20 times in this podcast. If you could give me one wish, I would go back to home whites.
Yeah,
don't you think most fans want that?
Oh yeah, so you see a new coloring coming in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if you polled all the fans, everybody would be like, no, home team wears whites, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, it's so stupid.
And they did it a couple times last year.
What do you think of that Buffalo Sabres logo? Going back to the
I like that too. It's a good third logo, third jersey logo.
I don't know.
I mean, think about it. When Buffalo was nasty, that's the colors they were in. They were in black. They were big, mean, strong. They had Palmenville. They had Vanek. They had Ryan Miller. That's when last time the Buffalo was good. They went to the conference final against Ottawa, lost in Game 6. They almost went to the Cup in 2006. Like that's the last time that franchise has been good.
Yeah, I know.
Might as well go back. They had success.
All right, let's cruise through some PTO signings. You tell me. I'm going to name them off. You tell me if they stick or they don't stick.
Yeah.
Nathan Beaulieu in Anaheim.
Yes.
Alex Jason in Arizona.
Oh, he did go to Arizona.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah, he'll definitely stick there.
Danny
he stayed with the Canucks. I didn't see he signed in Arizona.
Danny DeKaiser, Vancouver.
Yeah, he'll be signed Dep D, man.
Cody Eakin, Calgary.
I would have said yes before they signed Milano, but I think Milano will get the spot over Eakin. I don't mind that PTO though.
One last one here, and then we'll move on. Jake Virtanen in Edmonton.
Oh boy, you're opening up a can of worms here.
I know. Is it the right thing to? Is it the right moral thing to do as an organization? Also, as a part two,
he was not guilty, but the way that he said he was not guilty, he pulled the new law. I was too intoxicated to blah 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 to have consent. Like I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, Ken Holland has to be on board. Like everybody's got to be on board. The head coach has got to be on board this because it's going to get a lot of media attention if he makes the team.
Come on, they signed Evander Kane.
Okay, but Evander Kane didn't sexually assault somebody. That's a big.
He was accused of abuse, though. Like that's any better.
But he's also got off on all that stuff.
Got off on all of it. Good way to put it. Good way to put it.
No, he has sole custody of his children. So
I don't know. That's a really confusing situation.
But to be honest, I don't even think Jake Virtanen makes the team.
I don't think he does either.
He went to the KHL and had 6 points.
I'm not.
The NHL is a big step up from the old Continental Hockey League.
You're not getting an argument from me, man. I'm
with the team.
I'm with you.
He's got Vancouver games so many chances.
One final thought before we go on to 3 questions. There is talk that next year for the All-Star Game skills competition, the NHL is trying to incorporate alligators.
You're joking.
I know the All-Star Games in Florida. And I know in Vegas.
What would they do? Shoot a puck off the tongue of the alligator? Like what the hell? What's going on?
They were out in the waters of the Bellagio in Vegas last year, and rumor has it.
Oh yeah, the players.
They want to incorporate alligators.
Okay, let's go with 3 questions.
It's time for 3 questions.
All right, our favorite time of the show. It's back by popular demand. Actually, not back because we never even considered getting rid of this part of the show. So, so it's not really back. But for season 6, we are doing 3 questions again. I believe we started it in season 2. It's my turn to ask the questions this week.
3, yeah, one of those.
And next week now, Blake will return the favor and ask me 3 questions. I'll start it off tonight with this question: who will be this year's top 3 rookies?
Oh boy.
I know that's a tough one. I'm not even going to tell you top 3. That's really tough, Blake. That's really tough. Who's going to be a couple that'll stand out in your mind? I've got 3 that I came up with.
If Slavkovsky makes the team, I'm interested to see what he can do, because that's a big body, 6'4". You got Kuzmenko coming over from the KHL. We'll see what he does. Is Odger still a rookie?
No.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Hold on. How many first rounders make the NHL from this year?
Not very many.
Is Shane Wright make it?
Probably just because he's in Seattle.
You know what? I think Shane Wright's going to lead at rookies in points if he makes the NHL.
I'm going to name watch it. He's not even their best rookie. I'm going to name a couple guys. I think Mason McTavish is going to have an amazing year.
Yeah.
I think Jake Sanderson in Ottawa is going to have a really good year, and I think Cole Perfetti in Winnipeg is going to have a good year.
Okay, that's no fair. Brad had time to prepare for those answers. I got put on the spot.
That's what 3 questions are about.
You bugger.
That's what they're about.
Mason McTavish is a good pick.
Question number 2. Montreal has named Nick Suzuki a team captain.
Yeah.
He does not speak French.
Okay, that's just ridiculous.
Will this be a deal breaker for the Montreal fan base?
This is the 1950s, man.
I'm just asking. 50s. This is a legitimate question.
No.
You don't think that I think he will feel pressure because of it.
No, doesn't matter. It's a no-brainer decision for Montreal. I think he's going to be a great leader. He's been the leader for the last 3 seasons. He's been the guy. I think they could have looked at Gallagher and said, we could have given it to Gallagher, 30 years old, been in the league for a long time, well respected for the fan base. He don't speak French. How many of these people speak French?
Okay. Part 2.
It's irrelevant.
Part 2. Anaheim, Arizona, Buffalo, Calgary, Philly, Seattle, and Winnipeg do not have team captains. How important is having a team captain? And is this something that's just completely overblown by the media and fan base?
It depends what kind of room you have. I mean, if you can do leaders by committee, I don't think it matters. But there's some of those fan bases or some of those franchises I looked at and say, yeah, you should. Like Buffalo probably should have a captain. Arizona, like Chikrin, why can't he be the captain? He might be traded next year, but
I look at it though, and the media talks so much about it, and so do the fan bases. I think it's just the most overblown thing, and then I just don't.
Yeah, it's like you can only have 3 captains.
Crazy.
Not 9-10 players can be leaders in that room. Don't matter.
Well, good teams have 9 or 10 leaders.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm sorry, but putting a C on somebody doesn't make them a leader.
That's just a letter.
Number 3, Blake Wheeler's captaincy was removed in Winnipeg. Does this spell the end of Wheeler in Winnipeg?
Oh man, I haven't seen this since Joe Thornton got stripped in San Jose. And that guy's still on the team going into the season. So I think it's too late in the off season to trade him. I think he maybe gets traded at the deadline, but yeah, this came as a surprise to me.
Can I say something? I don't think this means okay. Go ahead.
So Scheifele's comments at the end of the year, and then Wheeler gets stripped. I mean, I think this is bonus coming in first year on the job, saying, okay, there's an obvious culture problem here, and we're gonna try and fix it. I mean, if you don't think Wheeler's suit to be captain, and they've kind of been stuck in the middle for the last 5 years since they lost to Vegas in the conference final. They haven't done anything with the same core. So something's got to change. Something's got to give. I mean, I don't know if that's trading Wheeler or trading Scheifele, but I mean, a trade like that would definitely shift the culture for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. But you know what I think is going to happen in this? I don't think Wheeler cares. And I think Winnipeg's going to have a bounce back year.
Well, the thing, Wheeler's 36 too. So maybe he didn't want it.
I think I think players care more about that earlier in their career.
Wheeler's also steadily declining. I shouldn't say. He did have 60 points in 65 games. But he had back-to-back 90-point seasons in 65 and 71, 46, 50, 60, and 65. So it's a little bit of a slight drop, but not too much.
Listener question comes from Rick Lawson via Twitter. And when I saw this question, I kind of chuckled because I think he maybe like nabbed this one from NHL radio because I heard them talking about this on NHL radio, but I don't care because I love the conversation I heard on NHL radio. And when I heard this, I thought, this is going to be putting Blake on the spot, and this is going to be a perfect question for week 1. And it is, who is your favorite random NHL player? Like a guy that's just
current or all time?
All time.
All time.
I couldn't come up with a current one, believe
Jordan
it or not.
Tutu.
Okay, he's a random guy.
Current NHL random player?
It's hard. Current
Matt
is hard.
Matt Zuccarello. Love the way he plays. Tyler Mott. Love the way.
You know who my random guy in current is? Alec Tuck. You know who my all-time random player is? Sean Donovan. I love the way Sean Donovan played.
Peter Nedved.
He was good. You can't say that. He was freaking good.
Player. I'm just thinking of cool names.
Oh, man. All right. Well.
Jordan Schaefer. Or Peter Schaefer.
Peter Schaefer. Who's that? Wasn't he the guy that
He's born in Sask. He's born in Sask. Sasky boy.
Okay. What does that mean?
He's from Yellowgrass, Saskatchewan. Played on the Canucks.
Is he a defenseman? Can you sign him?
No, he's too old.
Oh, we are back again next Monday evening as we go back to our regular weekly shows here at the Debate. And next week, you're in for a good one. Next week, you know what it's time for? It's time for 10 crazy predictions again. We've done that every single year we've done the podcast. It's back next week. 10 crazy predictions. It's going to be an entertaining show. And this weekend, preseason games start. Time to get ready. Buckle up, buddy.
Yep.
Buckle up, buddy. It's time for NHL hockey. Get connected to the Debate Hockey Podcast on all forms of social media. Follow the show on Twitter at Debate Hockey and follow the hosts on Twitter at Brad Burud and at Friars Blake. The Debate Hockey Podcast can also be found on Facebook, and check out the podcast website for all the current and archived shows at debatehockey.com. Get connected, stay connected for insight, opinions, and yes, controversy. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your hosts Brad Burud and Blake Friars. For more great content and to stay up to date, check out debatehockey.com and on Twitter at debatehockey. We'll catch you next time. This episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast was copyrighted and produced by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.